Hey guys, today we are reading a new book called Open Book by Jessica Simpson. I've heard of her so many times with Eminem songs. I also wanted to get this book because of that. So I hope this book's about her so then I know a little bit more. But besides that, we're just going to start reading. I love the book cover with the little, yeah, I like that. It's awesome. But we're just gonna start reading. So, yeah. This is gonna be in parts of videos, so, I do want to show you guys this too. I like the idea of how it was made. Yeah, so, it's nice. I love it. I really do. And the opening page is Open Book. Open Book by Jessica Simpson. Alrighty. Too sweet, Sarah, my angel, and to those who are lost and hope to be found, I pray my truth will help. Alright. Here we go. Prologue. February 19th. The kids are asleep and my husband is reading in the other room. So it's just you and me. And every night after we put our children to bed, I come down here to study, to write. That's cold here in Los Angeles, so bedtimes have been creeping later. My daughter Maxwell is 6 now, and my son Ace is 5. And they have the kind of energy that needs to be burned off outdoors, or it will just add up like a bill that needs to be paid at the end of the night. The poor kiddos have been at school at 7 a.m. So getting them down by 8 or 8:30 is tough. Swimming has always helped. My kids are fish, but it's been too chilly for the pool. Sometimes as they are racing around the house, I think back to when I was their age in Texas. And I can't remember having all this energy, but I guess I was busy at dancing class every day and then nights at church. This afternoon, my husband Eric set big drop cloths in the backyard as an activity for them. He's done this for years, laying out paints and brushes so they can have at it. He says it's like therapy, a way to get out all your emotions. I panicked the first time I saw them throwing paint. It's washable, babe, Eric said. Don't do this at anybody else's house, okay? I yelled, pulling a face as Ace upended a cup of yellow paint on the canvas. This is just for here. I am Southern, so manners matter. So please and thank you, and don't throw paint at playdates. Eric would let them paint the whole house if I'd be okay with it. He's this amazing blend of athletic and hippie, a pro football player who did yoga on the sidelines at Yale, while everyone else ran sprints. I usually join in on painting, but I am so pregnant that our daughter Birdie, that today I just sat and watched, hoping that if I just shifted one more time, I would somehow get comfortable. Spoiler, nope. Still, I was pregnant. I kept a promise I made to myself a little over a year before to show up in my own life. To feel things, whether they were the result of bad memories or good ones, and the making, like the gold of the setting sun hitting Maxwell's face as she knelt on the grass to draw freehand. The quick moves of a girl who is sure of herself, and Ace stepping back to look at all the paints before committing to action. Just like me, he quietly observes and then has that moment where he tilts his head back and just does every pre-measured stroke of color seems spontaneous. We divided and conquer at bedtime. Eric takes Ace, who wants every minute he can playing with Dad. I take Maxwell, who still lets me sing Jesus Loves Me with her every night. I know you might be thinking of a sing-a-song Jesus Loves Me, but I do the version from the Bodyguard. The one where Whitney and her on-screen sister whispering, singing slowly down wistful version. Maxwell and I list off all the friends and family we are praying for. And then we sing Jesus loves them. Oh yes, he does. Lullabies come hard for me. My first night home from the hospital with Maxwell, I was afraid to sing to her because I didn't know if I could sing quiet. I've never had to sing where I didn't have to perform. Aim my voice for the back of the arena. I remember thinking, should I just sing the Star-Spangled Banner quietly? If I tried Amazing Grace, I knew I would get the spirit and bust her little eardrum. It was like I was in a SNL sketch about the over-singing pop star mom. Whitney saved me. Tonight in Maxwell's room, when prayers were done, I got up from sitting on the bed, which takes every strategic planning when you are 7 months pregnant, and I was about to slip out. Maxwell is not one of those kids who need you to stay until she's asleep. I love that she is her own girl, and she will let you know. But tonight, just as I went to turn off the light, I heard her little voice. Why, will you rub my nose? She asks. Yes, baby. This is something I did with both my kids when I breastfed them. I sat with them in my rocker and stroked the bridges of their nose lightly back and forth. Each stroke, and I love you, I love you, I love you. The times they ask for this are growing further apart. I know that one of these times will be the last one. There are so many firsts to raising kids, and parents are totally catch them all. But they don't warn you about the last baby onesies, the last time you tie their shoes, the last time they think you have every answer in the world. As I rub her nose, Maxwell settled in her pillow and sighed. I looked down at her closed eyes. She is growing up so fast, I thought. Just on the edge of the age I was when I began beating myself up when I fell short of perfect. A few months back, we were in the kitchen at lunchtime. I gave her tomato soup and I asked her if she wanted some bread. Bella told me bread makes you fat. You are 6, I thought. Maxwell, bread does not make you fat, I said, and I don't understand why you would think about that. Well, Bella's mom does not eat bread. Well, you're gonna eat bread. Oh, good, she said, and paused, because I really love bread. You listen to what your mommy says, I said. Don't listen to someone else's mommy. I even put extra butter on the bread, as I did, so I thought, how does she even know what fat is? It was a wake-up call. She already has this world to grow up in, and I want her to feel safe enough to love herself and the body that God gave her. Not waste of time. I did being cruel to myself, standing in front of the mirror at 17, pinching a tiny vice grip of stomach fat until I bruised, because the first thing I heard from the record company after I signed was, "You've got to lose 15 pounds. Maxie is one of the reasons I am writing this book. It's also a commitment I've made to you, though. It's hard sometimes to look back on some moments in my life, and I spent years, decades, trying to forget. For me, sitting down here with a piece of paper and a pen is like, hello, self. What are we going to confront tonight? This was supposed to be a very different book. 5 years ago, I was approached to write a motivational manual telling you how to live your best life. The Jessica Simpson's collection had become the top-selling celebrity fashion line, the first to earn $1 billion in annual sales. I delivered the keynote at the Forbes Power Women Summit, and Women Wear Daily was talking about how smart I was to make clothes that flatter all silhouettes. Hello, I have had every size in my closet, so I'd better be exclusive. I was a boss, and I was supposed to tell you how to make your dream come true. You, too, could have a perfect life, like me. The deal was set, and it was a lot of money. and I walked away. Nobody understood why. The truth is that I didn't want to lie to you. I couldn't be honest with you if I wasn't honest with myself first. To get to this point, to talking to you right here, this moment, I had to really feel. And I hadn't been doing that up until a few years ago. I had a feeling addict, love, loss, whichever, whatever, as long as it was epic. I just needed enough noise to distract me from the pain I had been avoiding since childhood. The demons of traumatic abuse wow, that's crazy. I didn't think that should, wow. Wow. Wow, okay. Wow. The demons of traumatic abuse that refused to let me sleep at night. Tylenol PM at age 12, red wine, and Ambien as a grown, scared woman. Those same demons who perched on my shoulder, and when they saw a man as dark as them, leaned into my ear and whispered, "Just give him all your light. See if it saves him." For years I occupied my time trying and failing to be the woman and the men in my life wanted me to be. Never just me. I ran into situation after situation, telling myself that the reason I had so much anxiety and was scared to death to be alone at night was because I just needed to be a better person for whomever I was trying to please at the time. When I found the love of my life in 2010, it started my family. I could just be me. I took myself out of the music industry to be normal and be the kind of mom I wanted to be. I had to change all my numbers and my email addresses so none of my exes had any hope to contact. It sounds dramatic, but I had dated a guy who had a habit of showing up out of nowhere to mess with my mind. It was a good plan, but without the creative outlet of making music or the distraction of cryptic man texts of fear, like riddles, my anxiety took over. I didn't know what to do with all that energy. I was like a lot of women who get their wish. I loved being a mom. I just didn't love being me. To avoid feeling, I numbed myself with alcohol for about 3 years of my life, up until Halloween 2017. I had an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I never hid it. I know. I told my friends, I just need another one. I had given up drinking so easily when I was pregnant and never craved it, so I didn't think it was a problem. But our house was a gathering place for all my friends, and the place where everyone always ended up. I had a prescription for a stimulant, which gave me the focus to never get messy. I'd look around at my friends getting sleepy or sloppy and think, I'm just an ox, I guess. Then at night, still flying from the second stimulant that I had maybe taken at 6 p.m. with tons of alcohol in my system, I'd taken an Ambien. Yes, I realize I'm very lucky to be here with you. Even then, I knew it was getting out of hand, but I put that on the back burner. I told myself, eventually you'll get it together. There was always a later. Soon the kid will notice, I worried. I never grew up with alcohol in the house. We had so much. If the kids started questioning us about why, I wouldn't have the answer because I didn't know why we had so much alcohol, except that our house was always a party house for all our friends. When the kids noticed, I promised myself I'd stop. There was no time, though. I was juggling relationships, my business, motherhood, and the needs of anyone but me. I didn't think I was enough, so I overcompensated by making my life a series of experiences for everyone else. There was always another friends and family getaway overseas, and then I'd come home to plan an over-the-top kids party. Maybe you'll relate. It's like when everything is moving really fast, but you've created that speed. You're the one who set all these great things into motion, but now they're spinning all at once. You take a step back to try to make some sense of it, and before you know it, you've accidentally become a specter to your own life, unsure how that woman who used to be your plans on doing it all. You stand there thinking, okay, when am I going to jump back in? And when I did, I knew I had to face my fears and do it sober, or else I'd be a hypocrite. I can't really stand in front of the world and say how I love myself when I'm destroying myself. I had to strip away all the medicating to feel the pain and figure out what was wrong. I'm still doing the work in therapy 2 times a week, resolving those issues. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'll have any other drink in the future. Will I have a glass of wine in the south of France in 2 years? The last thing I need is another reason to feel self-conscious about paparazzi catching me doing something and proclaiming, oh, she's off the wagon. But then I remind myself that life is really just about one moment at a time, to not think about 2 years from now, but to think about me right now. 2 years from now will figure itself out. Right now, with this book, I want the freedom to say, well, there is no more secrets. I have grown into myself to come to a place where I want to be honest with my flaws. If I could do that in front of the world, then I can remain honest with myself. I like to say stuff out loud so then I could be accountable, but that also leaves me open to criticism. I beat myself up with this fight club in my head that I know what can happen if I invite new members. My purpose, however, is bigger than my fear of judgment. Someone, maybe you, needs me to say the things that are scary to admit. If I go there, maybe I can show you that you can too. I don't live in the fantasy world. It might seem that way to other people, but I don't. All of us are so much more alike than we want to accept. I always knew I was going to be a writer, even though I'm Southern and sometimes things in an off-kilter way. I do like the romance of the hard stuff in life. I know there are people who think I can string 2 thoughts together, let alone sentences. In the beginning of my career, somehow I was always the joke. Everybody made fun of something I'd say. I admit, I've definitely played into it. People's laughter meant a lot to me, and being the joke validated me being smart to myself. I feel like I could pull one over on somebody. I thought, how dumb are you to think that I'm stupid? The fact is that I have kept journals since I was 15. I started the year my cousin Sarah was killed in an accident, 2 years and 3 days older than me. She was like a sister to me. Sarah left behind a ton of journals listing off the people she was praying for. When I read her journals, I saw that she had prayed for me every day. I inherited her purpose and still feel a need to see through what she had started in so many ways. As I wrote about situations in my life and people I was praying for, the journal became a safe place for me to talk through things without putting any pressure on anybody. And crushes. Oh, so many crushes. I drag out a huge box of journals to read through as I started writing to you. The first one has a cover of smiley faces, but it was early 20s. I began to fill the Med 5-star spiral notebooks. I had a few pretty ones I got as gifts, but they always had 1 or 2 pages of notes, and then before I gave up. I needed the drugstore kind with hard plastic covers in different colors, a code that only I understood. A black one for the end of my first marriage, red for the hope of a love affair, blue for when I wanted to focus on my career, and song lyrics. I often wrote in pencil so I could go back and erase it if I wrote something grammatically incorrect or spelt a word wrong. Partly because I am so self-cautious but also because if I died like Sarah, I wanted people to think I was smart. It upsets me to read something I said about myself in the journal from 1999. I beat myself up about how fat I was before I even gave the world a chance. 10 years later, I wrote about the world telling me exactly what they thought of me when I wore size 27 mom jeans to a chili cook-off concert in Florida. The sad thing is that I talked about finally feeling confident in the pages before that ended. The percentage of the day do I think about my body on a scale of 1 to 10? I wrote 80% I hate this. But there are good times to relive too. There are moments when I read what I wrote now. I say, wait, I like this person. We could make a good life together if we were friends. I also hope to be your friend. I'm going to need you to hold my hand through some memories, and there may be sometimes I'll end up holding yours as we comfort similar things that scares us. I've come to realize fear when I see it. It may show itself in different ways, but it's a familiar face, isn't it? I have a different relationship to fear now. I learned that we grow from walking through it, and a lot of people don't even know they have that opinion. You either conquer it, or you let it destroy you. So let's do this together. I promise we'll laugh too, because I do get myself into situations. I mean, it had to be a chili cook-off of all places. Most of all, I promise to be totally honest with you so you can feel safe to be honest with yourself too. When I told my closest girlfriends I was writing a book, they all came up with possible titles. One wanted to reference a breakout moment of newlyweds when I wondered out loud on a camera. If the chicken of the sea I was eating with tuna and chicken. Call it I Know It's Chicken, said one girlfriend, and everyone started saying it out loud to themselves. I know it's chicken. Guys, it's tuna, I said. I should know. We all about died laughing. See? Life's taught me a few things. Here's my story. I'm not afraid of it anymore. Alright, I'm going to talk about that real quick. So, with that prologue, that is awesome that she's talking about herself, and it's just crazy to think about a celebrity that has gone through so many stuff, you know, and you don't really know how somebody feels. I mean, sometimes you do, but when they write it down, it's crazy, you know. Jessica Simpson, I know she is a really popular person, but yeah, I love that first part of it's like the starting of the book. It's like, I don't know, it's wow, I love it. I'm wondering if that's her favorite bird. I know that's like really weird to think about, but I'm wondering if that's her favorite bird. But yeah, guys, thank you for listening to that first part. I will continue for the next part, but yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.